Now, for years you've been hearing the right-wing Republicans, the wackos, It's Republicans who are passing in the state legislatures, Republican state legislatures. It's Republicans who are passing the biggest repression of language, of history, of knowledge. It's Republicans. Now, that should come as no surprise because Republicans don't live in fact. They live in myth. They live in lies. They live in distortions. That's why you got Fox News, and Limbaugh's, and Alex Jones's, and the QAnon blood drinkers, and all the other right-wing nuts that are out there, right? Of the Christian wackos as well as the politicals. And their big one, of course, is critical race theory. They're trying to spread that around and say, oh, that means your kids will be told that they're racist if you're white, right? And, of course, that's a lie. Because they don't listen to any facts. They don't listen to history. They listen to the idiocy of right-wing talk radio. They listen to the idiocy and deception of Fox News. All critical race theory is facts, which says that there was slavery, that there was the Civil War that ended the officially slavery, but then Americans, and that is predominantly the white people who put this into play, can't get away from facts, who put in racism, attitudes throughout the economic system, education, opportunities, that had again the effect of crushing, limiting, isolating the African American population. Fact. That's what's wrong with that. It's talking the history. It's talking facts. You see it all the way through. There were lynchings going on throughout America. And in the federal government came in and tried to pass an anti-lynching law. So you would always have a trial, right? You can't be dragged down and just lynched by a mob. But the federal government couldn't pass that legislation because, look at the facts, the racist entities, groups, ideas, the people from the South, southern states, intentionally blocked that legislation. There's just facts, history, saying what it is. You're learning history, you're learning facts, and the facts point out things that are real and had consequences. And therefore you see, okay, now we know, and how to change, and how to be different. Because you have knowledge, because you have history, because you have factual information about a situation that persists today. Because you still have institutional structures and attitudes in those, and in the economics as well, that intentionally block African Americans in particular. And that's what critical race theory is about, is presenting facts and history about what was and what continues to this day. And you know that so that you can adjust, so that you can change. You hear these things, there's these town hall meetings where people come in and complain about critical race theory, and they stand up there and they whine and cry like a bunch of babies, talking about, I don't want my kids to be told that they're racist because they're white. Where do they come up with that crap, that statement? They're getting it from the lie machines of Fox News, from all the right-wing wacko brabble stuff out there that's lying to you, deceiving you. And look what it's doing. It's trying to keep racism. It's trying to deny history. It's trying to say, let's not talk about the facts. Let's not talk about the history. Let's just keep going with the repression, the racism. And all of that is glaringly showing you the face. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, all sorts of incidents that are showing you, hey, this racism thing is still endemic in the culture. Fact. So if you want to change, you have to have the knowledge of what's going on. I mean, Malcolm X, some years ago, said it accurately. When one group is segregated and isolated from the main, activity and access to the main economics, they still need an economics. They got to pay rent. They got to buy food. But when you've blocked them, segregated them from the main economics, they still got to have an economics. So as Malcolm X called it, he called it the hustle, which referred to prostitution, drug trafficking, robbery, theft, all sorts of activities to still have an economics, to still have a job, to still have an income, to still make money, to still be able to pay rent, to still be able to buy food. Well, who pushed and blocked access to that main economics? The predominant group, which is white people, throughout this structure. Well, that's what happened. That's history. That's facts. But these Republicans, they can't stand to point out facts, history, knowledge. You hear it all the time. Republicans are the ones trying to say, deny COVID-19. Like that idiot Trump, that criminal Trump. He said it was a hoax. And over 600,000 Americans died because of Republicans lying to you. It's Republicans who are denying climate change, the reality of science, research. Because Republicans are paid for by the big corporations who are busy, poisoning and polluting you and your kids. And want to keep doing it. And pay no taxes. It's Republicans who voted down equal pay for women. Ladies, hello, did you get it? Even all you right-wing Christian wacko women, even all you whatever right-wing nuts, you're not going to get paid the same as a man because Republicans voted that down. Republicans. Just look what they do. Look what they actually vote on. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I know you say it's Republicans that are passing legislation to block you from even voting. So that it'll look like an election. It'll be a sham election, just like Putin's Russia is a sham election. They have an election, but it's totally rigged by Putin. And now this one in America is trying to be totally rigged by Republicans to block you from voting. And yet still have the sham of an election. That's Republicans. That's reality. That's facts. Everything about Republican has been showing you to be tied in with racism, or the racist groups. Look who showed up on 6th January. Nazis, racist groups, Proud Boys, Dumb Boys, Oath Keepers, all of them. Ku Klux Klan, all of them are there. That's in the Republican Party. As well as all the Christian lunatics who are saying no rights for women, no rights for gays, based on their book of myth, trying to force their little morality, their little view onto all of you. So you can't live your life, make your choices. You're forced to be limited, denied rights because of their little book of myth. That's Republican. Fact. So now, with all the activity of George Floyd and the national discussion going on about racism, and coming up with all the factual disparity that still exists in our economic system, in our access to education, in our access to employment, that is still going on. And you have the statistics, you have the crime statistics, you have the poverty statistics, and you all put all those together and you see, wait a minute, this whole system is being still run to deny equal rights to others, to black people. And that predominantly is being done by white people. There's a fact. I mean, hello? You can't get away from it. Reality. That's what Republicans hate. They want to live in their, religious myths. They want to live in the Fox News lies. They want to live in the fantastic lunacy of QAnon blood drinkers. They want to live in a whole myth-based world of deception and dictatorship and racism. That's what the Republican Party is. And it wants to keep poisoning and polluting you and your kids as well. So here they've got another one they're jumping on. Oh boy, they wanted to sound all worked up and agitated. Critical race theory. And they're jumping all over it and go, oh jeez. And you're seeing in Republican state legislatures, Republicans passing laws, folks, to limit what you can know, what you can be educated about, what your kids can know of history, of facts, to deny reality, to block them from reality and knowledge, to keep them small then, keep them ignorant, keep them inadvertently still perpetuating a system that is destructive. And it's destructive for all of us. It isn't just a matter of this group versus this group. It's when you have a system that is denying reality, denying science, denying medical research, like is all in the Republican Party, when you got a system of this political group that's trying to block you from voting even. Blocking you from voting in a democratic republic like we have, that's not politics, folks. That's a criminal act. But that's what the Republican Party is. Just as you saw show up at 6 January, where Republicans tried to overthrow the government and put in a dictator, racist slime of Trump Pence. Facts. And there you have it. Look what happened. Republicans don't want an investigation of what happened on 6 January and who was responsible. Republicans have voted it down in the Senate. They've voted it down tried to block it in the House. But luckily, we have some intelligence. We have some interest. Oh boy, do we have interest. That prevailed. And the House is going to pursue an inquiry into the 6 January insurrection. Oh, they're scared. Republicans are scared, you bet. Because what's going to find out? Guaranteed. Republican Party was involved. Republican money was involved. Republicans paid for it. Republicans organized it. Republicans generated it, invited, encouraged. Republicans. In other words, Republican Party was in treason against our government. Facts, see? Republicans don't like facts. Republicans die from facts. Republicans want to keep the pressure, the limitation, the boxes, the racisms, the bigotry going. Because that's all they got. That's who they are. You saw it. You've still seen it, what they say and what they do. The enemy to you for your democratic republic is everything Republican.